You absolutely can. That's why I kind of did that. I said just 90% coverage, and you looked at it, and and you look at that, it looks like I did nothing right there.
Looks like you used too much.
I did, absolutely. And I do that on purpose, actually, initially, just to show how, even half a bottle, you say, ooh, that was impressive.
That's amazing.
Let's do it again. This happens a lot sometimes if you're dealing with cars out there. You'll end up having one crash, you get one spill cleaned up, and something else happens. You got another one, and then you're at a speeding drive.
We're talking about a product that works on over 300 different chemicals.
320 different chemicals right now.
Whether it be
They're tested.
antifreeze, hydraulic fluid.
Yep. Just reuse it, just pour it right back over the top, let it do its thing. You might need to give it a couple more seconds to go into it, but when you're out there, particularly if you're dealing, like I say, with gasoline, you got it cleaned up in very quick water. I was gabbing through the last thing right here, but this time you look at it, just keep moving around, just try and get the fresh powder. Just try and get the fresh powder on it with the broom. Just keep moving it around, and your customers are not freaked out anymore when they don't smell the gasoline. And you notice we just did 2 spills out there, and maybe your nose is getting a little bit used to it, but it's not as much of a smell. But I can certainly not smell as much being right over it right here. But you're completely done. And then when it comes to disposal, when you deal with kitty litter out there, you know it all too well. When you got oil-soaked or gas-soaked kitty litter, it's a mess. It's just really hard to pick up out there. And this stuff is still a dry powder like this. And if you look on my fingers, they're a little bit shiny. So it absorbs 90% of the material to the inside of it, 10% is still on the surface. That's why you still get a little bit of vapor to it. And my fingers will now smell like transmission fluid out there. But this is a whole lot easier to clean up than you would if you had to deal with.
Why aren't you just using the grocery stores and stuff to put it on shelves?
The big issue that comes down to is, and this is why we like to do this here, is it's a training issue. Most people, when they've been dealing with kitty litter out there, there's going to be a tendency to say, you know what, this stuff's too light, it's not going to work, and they dump the whole barrel, or the whole bottle, or the whole bag, or something on it. They overwhelm it out there because they're so used to kitty litter. You would need to do that same job, you would need about 2 of these, and you need the full thing of this. Yeah, it's just a huge amount of difference, and you can reuse the stuff until it maxes out. Now here's the fun thing, too, that I like. This is what happens a lot of times, particularly at gas stations. You get that kitty litter out there, and you got to get rid of it. You got to put it somewhere, but you got kitty litter that's now completely full of gasoline out there. It's like, don't light a match. This is why they have no smoking signs.
Sorry.
Around
The hazmat team in New York, they want to use a vacuum, like a shop vacuum. To pick it up.
You can actually shop vacuum if you wanted to. But let's clean it up. One man, out there with the pumps, and you go out there, you put all your kitty litter out. Can you do that? Can you clean up 2 spills? Oops.
No, you don't like any help right
The point is, even if they're pretty dexterous with it, as I should be, but I'm not at the moment, you're all done. And you got a little bit that sticks to the thing, but you don't have the entire, all the rocks and the goo and everything sticking to it. And it's like the firemen hate that. When they have to do hazmat cleanups, they're like trying to shake the stuff off it. It's a big problem. And you're done. And yes, I could have used that a 3rd time.
So you have the city firefighters are using this?
Yep. Hazmat in particular. Special Operations Command, the squads, the rescues, and the hazmat one itself. It's just remarkably versatile. Now that's nice. I just did a nice little spill of a mixture of stuff right there, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that.
Frank, one of the things that we're trying to work on is trying to get this 1-pound package into all the first responders. So we're talking about the police departments, and we're talking about the EMS, because it's so easy to carry around.
Yep.
In the past, they didn't have an option because nobody wanted to take up the space with the 50-pound bag of kit.
Let's do some
now
fun.
it's an option.
There's a little antifreeze, and let's mix a little concoction up here. This is gear lube. You ever use that stuff? 90 weight, thick, gooey. It's like molasses. We'll mix some of that in there. This is
It's all mending.
yeah, that's what I was going to say. This is an 8-year-old's delight here. Let's really have some fun.
No, you don't
Let's
want to
mix
get
some.
You smell it all day long.
Yeah. You ever see a telephone pole get knocked down?
Yeah, it's
Transformer. It's not gear oil, it's mineral oil. That's what that transformer oil in there. So let's do something. This is why Con Ed is also starting to use green stuff.